All right, today's lecture, we're going to keep it a little basic still. A lot of times if you launch a program, you add a software instrument, two buttons up here are important. The information button will give you info on the track. This will allow you to change, add audio unit instruments here, and I'll talk about that in a bit. And also, if you go to the library button, this allows you to change instruments on the fly. So, here's the default, usually electric piano. So if I wanted to change this to a bass, all I have to do is click on it, and let's go with fretless bass. And notice the icon changed, and now you got a fretless bass. So take some time to experiment with the different sounds that you can get right from the library, and you can turn that off. Now the other two buttons, so there's tons of sounds right there. You can and you can record just like normal. The other two buttons that are important are right directly above the track menu, and we have a new track. So let's say I wanted to add, excuse me, a new track, and I'll just add a software instrument, and just to show you some, we'll go create, and it defaults to the electric piano. So there it is. And there's your fretless bass. All right. Now, the other thing you can do with this button up here is you can actually duplicate the track. So if you click it and highlight it, click on this button, and it will duplicate it. So now I have two tracks, excuse me, doing the same thing. So that's how you would add tracks. Now let's go back up to the information button up here, and then down here we have electric. If you'll see where it says electric piano, that's actually your instrument input. So if you click on the down up arrows, you can get all these different Logic instruments. So let's go with we'll go to the EX24 sampler stereo, and you're going to get a new pop-up window, and this will allow you to sample, well, not sample, but sample in the sense that you listen to different sounds. And if you click on the menu right here, usually it's located in the middle of these, you'll have some presets. So go to orchestral, you got little woodwinds. Ooh, the alto sax, don't want to go there. Clarinet staccato. So not bad clarinet sound. So you have all these nice instruments that you can go through, and there are literally thousands of them that you can go through and experiment. So this week's assignment is to just go through and experiment with the different, you have a drum kit designer. You can go through this whole menu, retro synth. So if I change it to retro synth, okay, in this case, your pull down menus here where it says factory default, there's a pull down menu, and you can go to synth brass, synth strings. And you can record them the same way. Just hit the record button. And I should talk about these two up here. This is your count off, so 4 clicks. This is your metronome button if you want that on or off. So if I'm clicking, it'll give me a 1 bar count off. There it is. You can turn that on or off. And then when I rewind and hit play, this button will actually take you back to 0. I'm used to keyboard commands, which is 0 will take you back. Now, changing tempo. All right, so this is just some more basic stuff. If you just double click on the tempo and enter in a new tempo, I'll say 160 will make it faster. Hit the return button. Now it'll be quicker. Default tempo is always 120. So you can change the tempo. Oh, what else? Oh, let's talk about Apple Loops for this week. All right. If you go here, there's an icon to the upper right that says Apple Loops. If you click on that, there's all of your Apple Loops. Like say you wanted, something in jazz. So just click on that and it will show all your jazz. Now, what you should know about this, is that you'll see some blue ones. Those are audio loops. And then some green ones are MIDI loops. So you can actually get in, there's a MIDI loop. So you can actually drag these, let me get rid of this synth part. You can actually drag these over, put them in. And if you notice, this is an audio loop. And this is a MIDI loop. It's a green loop. It's a lot like GarageBand. In fact, it's exactly like GarageBand. I'm just going to get rid of this. MIDI loops you can manipulate. You can, if you double click on them, you'll get the piano roller down here. You can actually change notes. You can do whatever you want with a MIDI loop. Audio loops you cannot manipulate. So play these together. Sounds a little funky, but again, reset. This is just like GarageBand. You can experiment with your different loops, and I'll talk more about the piano roll. I'll talk about all this wonderful stuff up here. So this week's assignment's a fairly simple one. What I'd like you to do is just experiment with some sounds and come up with maybe a list of favorite sounds that you have, and try to make some recordings using the loops and using your software instruments. Also, you can change meter by double clicking on it. I haven't really talked about your cycle bar. So it's located right here. You can click on that, and this will just loop something back and forth. So you can set it, move it in and out, left and right. You'll see it turns to arrows. You may also grab it and move it around. So anytime you hit the space bar, that's where it's going to start and stop. And you can turn cycle mode on and off over here. So really all I want you to do this week, it's very simple. Experiment with these sounds, and then we're going to start to talk about putting some of them together. So this is an easy lesson just to get you moving forward.